Welcome to this short presentation on creating good passwords, recorded for the benefit of CEBUG members. What are the hallmarks of a good password? Well, the first and most important point to keep in mind is that no password in itself is ever going to be 100% perfect. The best thing to do is come up with one that is as long as you can make it to remember it, and as complex as it can be, with using uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. This obviously makes it hard for someone to actually remember it, so we're going to get into that in just a moment. But the modern encryption standards, I believe, call for a minimum of 25 characters. So that's what I'm going to say is what we should aim for, is something that is at least 25 characters long. The most common way of doing that is actually creating what they call a passphrase rather than a password, where you convert a sentence into a password. And by all means, always keep your passwords or passphrases, whatever they may be, a secret from others. How do you go about creating a passphrase? You begin, obviously, with a sentence that you can remember. Make it one that does not contain anything like your own name or other family members or even pet names, any sort of information about you that someone could figure out fairly easily, your address, whatever. Make it something, but it should be a sentence that you could remember easily. Start by taking the spaces out between words and begin to add complexity by mixing in upper and lowercase letters. Look for ways of inserting symbols and numbers wherever you can so as to make it more complex. And by all means, make use of free tools such as Microsoft's Password Checker to evaluate the strength of your passphrase to see if you are on target not only with length but with complexity. Here is an actual example of creating a passphrase. Using the sentence, CEBUG is the place to go for help with computer problems. Just taking all of the spaces out of between the words gives me 47 characters. So I am not at all concerned with length at this point. I am simply looking at how can I add complexity to this sentence so as to make it harder for someone else to figure out what that would be. Well, one of the first things to do is I can simply insert capital letters at the start of each word. That would also help me with distinguishing where the words are in my sentence. So doing that, I haven't changed the length in any way, but it's starting to add some nice complexity into it. Keep in mind, you're going to have to remember your rules that you are creating for your passphrase. So you want to make them easy enough that you can remember, and hopefully something that others would not, especially if you're starting with a good sentence to begin with. So what else can we do? Well, there are two words in here, the letters 2 and 4, where I can substitute the numbers 2 and 4. It drops a few characters off, but I'm still well above 40, and I think it's 43 actually at this point. So, but it's starting to get a little bit more complex. What else can I change? Well, let's look at the word CEBUG itself, which is the first word in the sentence. CEBUG is made up of 2 syllables, C and bug. This letter, the first syllable could easily be condensed down to just one character, that is the C. And let's make it a lowercase so as to throw off anyone that's assuming that whatever my passphrase is, it would always start with an uppercase letter. And the syllable bug, well, what number on the keyboard sort of looks like a bug? Well, to me, that would be the number symbol or pound sign, whatever it is you wish to call it. So making that change, we now have this. It's, I believe, just a little over 40 characters still. So again, no worries about length. And I've got one symbol in there and a couple numbers with a mix of uppercase and lowercase. So I'm still well on my way with getting to a good one, and one that's So far, at least, not too hard to remember my rules. What else can I change? Well, when I was writing notes, I'm not sure when exactly I figured this out, but it was at some point either in high school or college. Whenever I wrote down the word with, I would always substitute the lowercase letter W in a slash mark for the word with, so that I didn't have to write out the whole word. If I make that change, again, I drop off a couple characters, but I've got another symbol in my passphrase now. I don't know what sort of abbreviations you may have used when you were doing note-taking, but again, look for something where you can do those sort of things in your sentence. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replace all of the letter O characters, whether they are uppercase or lowercase, with the number 0. So now here's where I'm going to stop, because I think I'm down to 39 characters at this point, and I have a very nicely complex passphrase, but still one that I can look at and remember exactly what it is, and not too many numbers, rules as to what I've done to add the complexity to it. Now, would I actually use this passphrase? No, I doubt not, because I'm obviously recording it here in this video and showing it to everyone. But the idea is sound in that what someone else could use, starting with a sentence that has nothing to do with their personal identity or others in the family and so forth, and adding complexity to it. I would probably add a few more so as to get some more symbols in there, but this is sufficient to demonstrate what the technique involves. Thanks for watching.